ladies and gentlemen, we have presence of Mr. Sardar Yasir Ilyas Khan, CEO of Centaurus Mall. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today. You're requested to please come forward and share your expert analysis on addressing issues and providing way forward for Pakistan and Kazakhstan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our Excellency, the Ambassador of Kazakhstan and our dear brother, Mr. H.E Yerzhan Kistafin, along with the dignitaries, distinguished guests, my panelists, fellow colleagues, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good afternoon. I would like to apologize for my voice. I've been under the weather, and I've been preparing for the speech that I'll get my voice back. So I hope I'm able to amplify my message and get it across to you all. I would like to also welcome some of my friends are here from the trade community, Raja Humayun Saab and Raja Hassan Saab. He's the president of the Blue Area Association. Zahid Latif Saab is a dear, dear friend, and he's worked very actively to promote the business community across all of Pakistan. Excellency, it's a great pleasure, but I would like to congratulate you first and foremost for being one of the most active ambassadors and the active missions in the entire region. I think there's no embassy that I've met has carried out so many B2B and B2C conferences, dialogues, not just in Pakistan, but also in Kazakhstan. You've had the pleasure of hosting our counterparts and vice versa from different cities in Kazakhstan. And this is exactly what we've been trying to do for many years. The core function of Chamber of Commerce has always been to promote B2B, B2C, and also to ensure the longevity of businesses, to protect and promote trade and commerce across all sectors, not just within Pakistan, but we go beyond boundaries. And we have, mashallah, over 58 chambers in Pakistan. So His Excellency has been doing both roles. He's been functioning as a Minister of Commerce and at the same time as an ambassador, managing diplomatic ties between both countries. We have a very rich history with Kazakhstan. It gives me great pleasure and pride to acknowledge that this is one of the few countries in which we have a trade surplus. You know, usually we have a trade deficit, which is why the government has been very strict on LCs and import regulations. But Kazakhstan is one of those countries where we are exporting far more than we're importing. And as my colleague from Bank of Punjab rightly said, it's well over $100 million. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Because as you students and as you all reputable individuals know, that Pakistan's capacity is far more than what we're achieving today. You know, we're just looking at about 26, 27, 28 billion, which is a kind of a joke for Pakistan. And I look at the correlation. If you look at the current population of Kazakhstan, you're looking at about 18 million, 19 million people. I think they're not growing as exponentially fast as Pakistan. We're at 230 million, if I'm not wrong. That's a large number. So in COVID-19, I think our production must have gone up another 10% with a lot of spare time. And I think this is really unfortunate because, you know, we don't have the resources in place to be able to cater for so much human resource that is coming up. And if you look at the GDP in Kazakhstan, it's about 180 billion. Pakistan's GDP is about 260 billion. Again, the numbers don't correlate. Our population size is far more, and yet we're still not able to produce. If you look at Turkey, on the other hand, again, you're looking at about 80 million people, and they've got a GDP of about $800 billion annually. So what's Pakistan not doing? We're not focusing on manufacturing. Every institution we speak to, you know, NLC is a great example. They've done wonders and have grown exponentially over the years. But if you look at all the others, they're not growing as fast because our core competence, our core strength is industry, yet we're not focusing on industry. Everybody talks about indigenous production, yet we're not getting there. And we need to focus on that. That is the only way we're going to be able to balance our trade and enhance exports. We need to come up with export substitutes, and we need to diversify our exports, import substitution and export diversification. And this is a huge issue. We're dependent purely on raw materials, and we're not producing anything locally. So even as a furniture manufacturer, for example, wood is also being imported. The core accessories are being imported, and the same issue goes to textiles. Same issues with construction, lifts, panels, ACP panels, composite panels, glass. All of this is being imported. Construction alone has 70 allied sectors, and it's all dependent on imports. And that's the reason why we're not growing. And again, we're having all the exchange loss. So the remedy is to focus on bilateral trade, but at the same time, bring Pakistan towards transfer of technology. We can only add value in our products and services once we have the technology. So why is China so much better? Because they're more efficient. They're more efficient because they have the technology. They re-engineer everything and make it better and make it faster. It's all about speed. So if I can ensure that I'm able to give you 1,000 doors by the end of the month, everyone will buy from me. But if I say maybe 6 months, 5 months, you know what happens these days when I talk about timelines to anyone overseas? They ask me, are you talking about the Pakistani timelines or are you talking about the international timelines? Because they know that when we say a certain day or a certain time in Pakistan, it's usually a day after or 2 days after, because we are generally a week on that front. So we have to learn, we have to evolve. But let me give you some stats. And the Excellency knows this much better because we've talked about this a number of times. This is for my Pakistanis and my brothers and sisters that are not aware. This is to reinsure your faith in the country. We are amongst the top 10 when it comes to cotton. We're the top 5 when it comes to mangoes. We have the largest variety of dates in the region. At the same time, if you look at sugarcane, if you look at crops, if you look at pharmaceutical, our medicines are far more inexpensive than the rest of the competitive world. Even beer. We make far cheaper beer than Heineken, yet we're not able to promote it, nor we're able to endorse it. It's a product which is manufactured locally. I think we should. Why not? We should promote beer, and we say, you know what, we're proud Pakistanis, we're fine, we're a Muslim nation, but we're exporting something, which we're capable of doing, because business should not be put into conflict with personal ideologies or religion. And again, I can give you the example of the UAE, a beautiful example. The UAE has become a hub for the Middle East, and now Saudi Arabia is following the same principles. With Neom City, which is coming up, it's a multi-billion-dollar project, and it's going to grow in the next 10 years. But the reason I'm giving this example is because they've created avenues for people to invest, and everybody wants to go there, whether it's for tourism or it's for trade or commerce. Exhibitions are happening there at the moment, whether it's food exhibitions, whether it's property expos. Why can't we do it in Pakistan? Pakistan can offset all of its liabilities and settle its debt if we just focus on tourism alone. Excellency, the sort of diversity from Karachi, Sindh, Gwadar, all the way to north, the same day, same time of the year, you're going to experience 30-degree sunlight at Gwadar. And the same day, same time, you can come to Malam Jabba at 11,000 feet and experience -5 temperatures and ski on the best slopes in the world. Yet, we're not capitalizing on infrastructure and tourism development. So we ourselves are now getting into this sector. We're going to be, inshallah, inaugurating a 5-star hotel next year. And I am certain that this is going to create new avenues for growth, because we're going to have a lot of employment creation. Our institutes are now focusing on, hospitality management courses as well. Namal is one of them, and I know there's 2 more in Islamabad that are creating a new syllabus now for just hospitality management, because there's more, not just hotels, but motels coming up. There's more guest houses coming up, and there's also a lot of restaurants. So it all revolves around hospitality management. So that sort of training is also going to be, beneficial to students from Kazakhstan. We can have exchange programs between the 2 countries, and we can learn a lot from each other's culture. And again, like Pakistan is a huge country, we are very rich in terms of our heritage, in terms of our geographic diversity. If you go to Bhahalpur, for example, you'll experience the same Sahara deserts, the same sort of heat, the same sort of climate, the same ambience you'd get at the deserts in the Middle East. And like I said, our slopes are at par with the slopes in Switzerland. I've skied myself at Jungfrau. I've skied in areas like Zermatt, and I'm telling you, our peaks are equally as competitive, as attractive, and it's raw. The beauty of our areas is there's no security risk. We've propagated this in a very negative manner, but I can promise you, if you go to Azad Kashmir today, there's 0% crime rate. And KPK is far more settled and far more stable now than it's perceived to be. I always, on every forum, advocate this to our media, that we have to show the positive side of Pakistan, because Pakistan has so much more to offer than what is seen on TV. And those are the things we need to highlight. Excellency, IT is another area which is the future of Pakistan. It's the fastest growing sector at the moment. We are currently touching nearly 3 billion worth of exports. We have the capacity to touch 10 billion. In terms of our GDP breakdown, SMEs have a huge role. You're looking at about 4.2 million SMEs in Pakistan, and I would urge our banking sector to focus on this, because due to limitations, we've not been able to provide adequate financing. And this is again an opportunity for Kazakhstan, where businessmen could become silent partners or angel investors, or banks for that matter, that can offer lowest interest rates or partnerships perhaps, and allow the SME sector in Pakistan to grow, because it all revolves around funding. If we get adequate funding in place, the businesses will be able to prosper a lot faster. 4.2 million is a huge number, and this is just at the current pace. The need is far more than that. The need is double of that. If we get to about 80 million, SMEs should contribute to nearly 40% of Pakistan's GDP, which is not the case at the moment. Real estate, again, Your Excellency, we are excellent at it. We're making the best houses. If you go to Lahore, you'll see far better houses in Islamabad. They have much better designers, much better finishes. In areas like 5,000 square feet, we are giving you nearly 78,000 square foot feel. It's the way we play with the areas and the way we play our heights and our designs. This segment should also go to Kazakhstan. We can outsource our consultancy for design and development and offer. These are the local designers. These are all local designers. So we'll be happy to design houses and buildings for individuals in Kazakhstan. I think that's an area which we've not worked on before. IT, as I said earlier, we can outsource our services and we're far cheaper. We have a center in Bagh, which has employed about 3,000 youth, and they're exporting multi-million dollars worth of services to Johns Hopkins and various other medical institutes. So I'm sure we can do the same for Kazakhstan. In terms of infrastructure development, we'll get there. We are making progress. It's a little bit slower, but with political stability and this uncertain element that we're going through at the moment, I promise you, the Pakistan that I foresee in the next 5 years is an Asian tiger to be, which it is going to become. This human resource that we have in Pakistan is phenomenal. We've gone through everything, the worst of the worst. We've gone through natural disasters, we've gone through calamities such as the earthquakes, we've faced the floods, we faced COVID-19, and we had a 90% recovery rate. It is the most resilient human resource I've experienced in my life, and I've seen a lot of people worldwide. I've worked with a lot of human resource from different parts of the world. Pakistan, as a nation, is very, I think, committed, dedicated, passionate, and they achieve the goals. The sort of effort that we put in, I promise you, if we had the tools, we could do things twice as fast. So again, we would urge that if there's any sort of transfer of technology we can bring in from Kazakhstan. Vehicle manufacturing excellency, EVs, Pakistan is focusing on this now. We are looking at producing many more of them. There's more companies doing JVs. If we can get this routed through Kazakhstan, move into Europe, Central Asia as our connecting point, that's the future as well, because we'll be far more inexpensive. Assembling is happening in Pakistan, but we need to move towards manufacturing. With China, they already have 3 tile manufacturing plants in Pakistan, which are now cheaper than the local manufacturers. So I can buy cheaper Chinese tile in Pakistan than I'm actually buying Pakistan manufactured tile. And that's an edge that they have, but at the same time, we would like to benefit from this. We would like to form more JVs of similar source so we can enhance our exports from Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot I can talk to you about. I don't want to overstep the timelines, but have faith in Pakistan. Have firm belief, and forums like these, capitalize on them, utilize them, meet with all the relevant stakeholders from different departments, different institutions, because you have to grow with them, you have to learn from them, and you have to use them for your advantage. Your businesses will only be able to grow if you connect to the right channels. It's all about networking. Why do people play golf? To be able to network with the right people. It's not just about the sports, so everything revolves around that, and use His Excellency, his presence in Pakistan, because I can tell you, he's extremely positive, extremely forthcoming, and he's a doer. He wants to bring positive change for both nations, and he's especially focused on Pakistan. He has a lot of love for this country, and we need to facilitate him on any forum that we can, whether it's in Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Lahore, Faisalabad, Sialkot. It is a future excellency, again, surgical equipment we talked about. There's so much more. Carpets. We are doing a hotel where we're initially going to import everything, but when we realized that the import ban was implemented due to the trade deficit issues and dollar issues, we then started looking at alternatives, and now all the fit out that we're doing on our hotel is local. We're buying local furniture, we're buying local carpets, we're buying local wallpaper, we're buying nearly 80% of the fit outs in the rooms are local, except for the GRMS system, the BMS systems, the electronics, the lighting, that's imported because we're not manufacturing that, but everything else is now manufactured in Pakistan at par with world-renowned standards, and these are products that have been approved by international operators. And Marriott will accept it, Accor will accept it, the Conrad Group. There's a lot of groups, and I'm very proud of this, that we now have, substitutes available in Pakistan. If the trade ban didn't happen, I would have never known, because I would have never explored the markets, and this is all in Punjab. So we've got a refreshing talent available. Gems and jewelry. Ladies and gentlemen, gems and jewelry, we haven't even focused on that. 30 billion worth of exports can be done annually if we have the right method of sourcing and the right processing in place. 90% of diamonds are being processed in India. Why can't Pakistan do it? Pakistan has the best rubies, the best emeralds, the best sapphires, yet we're not processing them. We don't have international rated certificates to show that we are at par. So IGI, HRD, GIA is not present in Pakistan. Why can't we do it? So we need to establish labs that are able to certify them at par, so that they're accepted in Dubai, they're accepted in in Europe, and say, what, these are at par with international standards. Because we're undervaluing what we have. So if something is worth $100,000, we're selling it for $50,000 because we don't have the right certification, the right paperwork in place. And we haven't even touched where Rekadik was. We haven't even gone to Turbat and Balochistan, where all the gold mine really is. So guys, you're sitting on a gold mine. We're living in a gold mine. We just need to appreciate it, have faith, and utilize it to your advantage. So for all the youth that's here, if you want to go overseas, you want to get the exposure, the education, get it. You're welcome to. But then come back and harness that energy, that education, and take Pakistan forward, because you're Pakistan's future. And Excellency, with people like you, we have a very bright future ahead, and we thank you for all the efforts, and I thank all you for being here. Together we can, and we will make Pakistan and Kazakhstan better than they were. Thank you so much, Pakistan. Zindabad.